What would have been if these two teams had squared off at the Super Bowl?
You look at these Vikings, John.
Well, they just have to keep doing what they've done all year. I mean, this is really their year.
We were oh so close to getting a dream Super Bowl matchup in a specific year, only for the dream to fall just short. Today we present to you 10 years where we wanted and almost got a dream Super Bowl matchup. Wanted Denver Broncos versus Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl 33. Going into 1998 Conference Championship weekend, every average football fan knew what they wanted. The 15-win, record-setting Minnesota Vikings facing John Elway and the defending champion Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 33. The Atlanta Falcons were a cute story and all, but they weren't supposed to be a match for the Vikings. Led by Randall Cunningham and the dynamic receiving duo of Chris Carter and rookie sensation Randy Moss, the Vikings scored a record 556 points, a single-season record that held up for 9 whole years. But we all know how this story plays out. Vikings kicker Gary Anderson, perfect all year long, missed a field goal that would have put Minnie up by 10 points with 2 minutes remaining. The Falcons drive down the field, get the game-tying touchdown, then go on to win in overtime on a Morton Anderson field goal. The Vikings' dream season is now dead. We are still very bitter that the Vikings and Broncos never met in Super Bowl 33. Wanted Chicago Bears versus Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl 20. Mike Ditka's legendary 85 Chicago Bears team won 15 of 16 regular season games. Their only loss against Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins in a classic Week 13 Monday Night Football clash. While the Bears cruised through the NFC bracket to reach Super Bowl 20, the Dolphins looked poised to reach the big dance for the second straight year. Once the top-seeded Los Angeles Raiders were knocked out by the New England Patriots in the divisional round, it felt like nothing could stop Miami from facing Chicago in the Super Bowl. However, the only thing that was stopping Miami was themselves. They coughed the ball up 6 times in the AFC Championship game and had no answer for a Patriots offense that gashed the Finns for 255 yards. The Patriots cakewalked to a 31-14 road win to meet the Bears in Super Bowl 20. But as everybody expected, that legendary Bears defense absolutely annihilated a hapless and punchless Patriots offense and round to a 46-10 blowout win in the big game. Yeah, Marino versus that 85 Bears defense would have been a way better game. Wanted Buffalo Bills versus San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 27. If the Bills didn't have to draw Troy Aikman's dynastic Dallas Cowboys in back-to-back Super Bowls, maybe Buffalo would have formed a dynasty themselves. And maybe us football fans would have been treated to 2 non-crappy Super Bowls in a row.
And that's 4 Super Bowl wins in a row for the Buffalo Bills. Unprecedented.
The Cowboys destroyed the Bills 52-17 to win their first of 3 Super Bowls in the 90s. Hey, you know, good for them and all, but we really wish it was a 49ers-Bills Super Bowl instead. Remember, the 49ers and Bills met in Week 2 back in that same 1992 season. Jim Kelly and Steve Young both threw for over 400 passing yards apiece in what was ultimately a 34-31 Buffalo victory. Now, just imagine if we got the sequel on the grand stage.
This could be a prelude to a possible Super Bowl matchup in January.
Wanted Oakland Raiders versus Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 37. At first glance, Super Bowl 37 between the Buccaneers and Oakland Raiders felt like a dream match because of one man, John Gruden. After the 2001 season, the Raiders traded Gruden to the Buccaneers, and Bill Callahan was promoted to Oakland's head coaching position. Rich Gannon spearheaded a Raiders offense that culminated in him winning MVP honors. Gruden inherited a star-studded defense from Tony Dungy and took it to a whole nother level, with the Bucs allowing only 12.3 points per game. But anywho, Super Bowl 37 was an all-time yawn fest because Gruden obviously knew every play that was coming from his old team.
We went back to the offense that Gruden knew. So the audible said with that. So,
oh my gosh, Tim.
Black 15 Lightning. Sapp said, they're coming right here.
The Bucs forced 5 turnovers, 3 of them being pick sixes and 5 sacks in a 48-21 blowout win. If us fans got our way, it would have been a Raiders-Eagles Super Bowl. Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid led aerial assault against football's top quarterback that year, with no Gruden to sabotage the entire Raiders game plan? Yeah, that would have been a way more satisfying Super Bowl. Wanted Carolina Panthers versus New England Patriots in Super Bowl 50. In In what would be the final showdown between Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, it was the Broncos who prevailed 20-18 in the 2015 AFC Championship game to qualify for Super Bowl 50. Hours later, the Panthers were celebrating a 49-15 shellacking of the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game to reach Super Bowl 50. So with that, it was MVP Cam Newton against the Broncos' no-fly zone in the big dance. And while it was nice to see Peyton Manning ride off into the sunset with that long-awaited second Super Bowl ring, the game itself sort of sucked. Finishing out at 24-10, 6 total turnovers, 4 by the Panthers alone, a whopping 12 total sacks. Heck, the Broncos only had 194 yards of offense in that victory. Oh, and the two teams combined for 18 penalties worth 153 yards. Looking back, why didn't the Patriots just beat a past his prime Manning in those Broncos in the AFC Championship game? Then we would have MVP Newton and the league's highest scoring offense going against Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champs. Two teams with MVP caliber quarterbacks, top 10 offenses, and a top 10 defense? Yes, please. Wanted. Seattle Seahawks versus Indianapolis Colts in Super Bowl 40. The 2005 Indianapolis Colts looked destined for a trip to the Super Bowl. They started out 13-0 before finally losing their first game to the Drew Brees-led San Diego Chargers in Week 15. Peyton Manning would have won MVP if not for Sean Alexander's historic season. Nonetheless, the 14-2 Colts finished second in both scoring offense and scoring defense, and it should have set up an easy trip to Super Bowl 40. But the sloppy Colts were stunned by Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the divisional round. Seattle ran through the NFC to reach their first ever Super Bowl, while the Steelers crushed the Broncos to set up what would be a very, very boring showdown. As everyone knows, the Steelers won a sloppy defensive slugfest that was highlighted by awful officiating that completely favored Bill Cowher's squad. The Seahawks were totally robbed in a yawn fest of a 21-10 defeat. Now just imagine if it was the Colts and the Seahawks. Football's two highest scoring offenses that year, a game that the refs wouldn't have completely determined on their own? Oh boy, what a dandy that would have been, alright. Wanted. San Francisco 49ers versus Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 29. Just how awful was Super Bowl 29 between the 49ers and San Diego Chargers? Well, San Fran was an 18.5-point favorite, and they had covered that spread by the second quarter. But you know, the Super Bowl would have been even better if it was the 49ers and Pittsburgh Steelers instead. Bill Cowher's Steelers were the AFC's top team with a 12-4 record, thanks to a stingy defense that allowed the second fewest points. Their championship dreams were crushed by the underdog Chargers in the AFC title game, however, which then set the stage for an all-time boring Super Bowl. But seeing a defensive mastermind like Cowher going up against Steve Young in that prolific 49er offense would have been a sight to behold. Well, thanks to the Chargers for blowing that dream away from us. Wanted, New England Patriots versus New Orleans Saints in Super Bowl 53. If it weren't for the no call, the Saints would have been in Super Bowl 53.
They blew the call. That call puts in 1st and 10. We're on an 8-3 plays, and it's a game-changing call.
For one, that would have meant a once-in-a-lifetime Super Bowl showdown between Tom Brady and Drew Brees, the NFL's 2 all-time passing yards and passing touchdown kings. It also would have thwarted the brutal and boring Super Bowl 53 clash that saw the Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-3. Brees and Sean Payton never won that elusive second Super Bowl. 2018 was easily their best chance to win another, and it was strictly the worst non-call in NFL history that cost them another championship. Brees, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas versus Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Julian Edelman? Peyton, an all-time offensive guru versus the game's greatest defensive mind ever in Bill Belichick. That would have been a 5-star Super Bowl showdown. But of course, the stupid no call had to ruin it and prevent the ultimate dream Brady-Brees Super Bowl clash. Wanted, Kansas City Chiefs versus Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl 55. Everything was lined up for the dream Aaron Rodgers-Patrick Mahomes showdown to become a reality in Super Bowl 55. Surely, MVP Rodgers and the Packers wouldn't choke away another NFC title game, this time being at home, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Well, actually, that's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, Mahomes and the Chiefs dismantled Josh Allen's Bills at Arrowhead to reach their second straight Super Bowl. Rodgers wouldn't play in another NFC championship, so the dream Super Bowl clash against Mahomes never transpired. Green Bay's pass rush was nothing close to Tampa's ferocious unit, so Mahomes would not have been running around all night long. We would have had a thrilling back-and-forth shootout between two generational talents, on the big stage no less. Wanted, Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 28. After the 1992 season, the 49ers chose Steve Young and traded franchise icon Joe Montana to the Chiefs. San Fran was now Young's team, and Montana got the chance to further rebuild his legacy elsewhere. But alas, the 49ers lost to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game for the second straight year. Montana's Chiefs also reached the Final Four, but were no match for the Bills, who punched a fourth straight ticket to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 28 was just more of the same. The Cowboys made easy work of the Bills, winning a second straight Lombardi trophy by a final score of 30-13. Now, just imagine if we got to see Young's 49ers against Montana's Chiefs. The ultimate revenge game for Joe Cool. But what other dream Super Bowl matchups do you wish we got to see only to be served with a crappy one? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.